Good afternoon. My name is Bettyann Little Wolf, formerly Crowshoe from Bettyann. My parents were Joe and Josephine Crowshoe. I'll say a very short prayer this morning, or today at noon. And in my prayer, I'm going to ask for guidance, ask for all good things for our people. Ai stipata pio, ai o napi na tusi. Ai o kinoktiks kana puama tusi mohkua noktis kanatan ni. Ai o takso kopei pois pinan nuku sinna niksakiaki. Ai noksikimma tuus nuku sinna niksi. Ai stipata pio pak te toki tutoa se ni pois pinan manstam. Tänskatsamatumuenaan nuku sinna niksakiaki pitsikui iksaki. Isto iniks kaukaa puutisiksikin niks ut ämistuti sau uistumua vai. Stipata pio nokse kimmaatuukin nää nakukatskukap ahkapennaani nukuusennaaniks. Stipata pio nokpai puispinnaanaaki tapiiksi tapiiksi tässukinäkiu. Takiiksaa käsavajaksetistäkseksikin niitäkiiksaa käknimatpukanei puispinnaa. Se päätä piopnokai sitä pukamukin nana kekika mitsuki sa wippumapi itsekajissa pääpukai. Ai se päätä piopaa käknoka ikajissa päin atuistutumokin nani taaksuva tuuppinaan sitä istumskukspinnaan. Nakuk sitä skasvamuennaani nukuusennaaniksi nessukuusennaaniksi. Nekin nokan sitä päinskatsomataa käknoksiskanaatyini. Well, today, I thought of some stuff that kind of interrupted in our lives when coming home from boarding school. Our life before boarding school was such a happy life. Our grannies were always a part of our lives, and we were happy at home. We had parents that took us to ceremonies, took us to many good things that happened. Then when the boarding school era came in, it interrupted 4 things, mainly our culture, our traditions, our values, and our beliefs. In our culture, people are forgetting where we come from because life is too fast, and our traditions are also being forgotten too. I remember growing up as a young girl, our grandmother used to do all kinds of things for us, take us. Like in berry picking and teaching us everything, how to cook, how to sew, how to clean, right down to when you go outside, you pick up garbage off and she used to say, Mother Earth has to breathe too, so we have to pick up all the little garbage off the ground. And those are things that I was taught when I was growing up. So today, our young people sadly are not doing these things. There are some fortunate ones that are still being taught that way, and they're far and few. The values of our people today is really again interrupted by the fast way of our life. We went to a conference not long ago, and I listened to some grandmothers and grandfathers talk, and this is across Canada, and they were all in the same thing. They all cry for their children to come home. The grannies are not seeing their little ones anymore, and particularly with the pandemic, they're lonely for the children. The kids are not coming home to visit their parents. They're dropped off at daycare or wherever they are, and the grandparents are missing this connection with their children, their grandchildren. What they talked about at that time was we have to stress to our children, as we were young, our grandparents and our parents used to take us to ceremonies, and in our lives it was always sometimes we if we're lucky we can stay up all night at these all night smoke ceremonies with our parents. The children are not witnessing that today. They go to ceremonies, they go to get their faces painted, and how many times, I wonder, is it explained to them what the ochre is and what the protection is for the children. My granddaughter used to recite the prayer, Indian prayer, and she came home one day and I asked her, "Do you know what the prayer is about? Do you know what you're saying?" And she said no, she doesn't understand, but she knows how, she's just reciting it. So we sat and we went through this prayer and we explained, both my husband and I, we explained to her what the prayer meant. When we were young and in we used to sit and smudge with our parents, we had a duty in keeping our smudge going all the time with our parents. The prayer that really always stayed with me was when sometimes when we're in hard times or troubling times or whatever, my dad used to say, all you have to say is, "Gimma dukit," help me, Creator. Creator helps everybody. He already knows what you're needing help with before you even ask. That's part of our belief systems. And when I was talking to the elders in this one conference, one of the elders said to me, "Do you on your reserve have support systems for our forgotten age children?" Well, the forgotten age children are our children. They don't understand Blackfoot because we didn't teach them our language. Our language is so powerful, so important for us that we try to teach our children, but again, life is so busy, they're always on the go, going here, there. Their children are put into daycare and then they go to school and now they're learning the language in the schools. And these children come home and they don't understand, their parents don't understand, they can't make any conversation. So what we were talking about and what we came up with was we have to be so sensitive in being with our young people, particularly the teenagers. A lot of the teenagers are not, nobody's taking any interest in them, and I think the important thing is they want to learn. And when an elder sits with a young person, they're not going to come out and say they want to sit with you and talk with you, but if you do, you feel that vibe from them, that they're so anxious to be heard by their elders. And just to sit and listen to what they're saying and you don't have to advise them or anything, just your presence in wherever the situation is, sitting with these young people, that means a lot. And you can feel it, and you can feel it from them, because they're so humble. People forget our children, our young people, our young generation are very humble people. And I see a trend in the young people today, particularly the children that have that dropped out of school and started families and so on. The trend is going back to school, and the success rate is so much higher than when they were going to grade 12, because they now have in the learning institutions live-in elders or elders on site, and the communication between the elders and these young people going to school and that is so important that you don't even have to talk. Just seeing an elder at the college or the university means a lot to these young people. The education that our ancestors prayed for is evident today. You can see it. Growing up, I used to hear my grandparents and other old people pray for our young people to continue their school, to do something with their lives, and it's happening. It's happening. The other thing that I meant to talk about was the our young people. Some of the people that I've talked to that went to treatment and came out. One of the things that they really, a lot of people focus on the, I don't like to say bad children or youth, but the bad choices that they make. A lot of people focus on that too much, and they forget about the young people that are not doing the drugs, that are going to school, that are doing good, and so on. They forget about those people. And what they focus mainly is always on the bad behavior, the bad choices they make. If we could sit with our young people and just listen to them talk and explain, you could explain to them what it was like when you were, because they love hearing what it was like when you were young, when I was young, like way in the back in their parents, their grandparents' days. They never hear that. They never hear the stories of us growing up. They hear about the boarding school, the bad things that happen in boarding school, and I don't always like to focus on the hardship of those days that we went through, because we survived that era, and we can never go back to the old days. If you explain to the children that what you could do is you could take all your traditions, your culture, your values, your beliefs from back then, and implement them into today's life. And one of the things that is so important is showing that love. We couldn't show love when we were going to boarding school. That was our love with our grandparents and our loved ones was severed the day we went into, was cut when we went to boarding school. But these young people, they like to hear about our days when we were young, and how we were so rich in our culture, how we were so rich in our love, and holding our parents and our grandparents. Today, that holding, that loving, is very slowly coming back. It's up to us as grandparents to show our young people that they're loved, and embracing, because we almost lost that. We almost lost that love as well. But with help from Creator and our prayers, it came back to us. It's here. So we can share that with our young people and explain to them how we feel as elders when we see the young people straying, and then you pray for them. Even if you don't know the person, you still say a prayer for that person. So in doing all these things with our spiritual beliefs, that is the most important thing in a home life, and it starts in our home. Our language starts right in our home by us talking to our families. The love, showing that love back to our children, starts in our home. And so when your home life is happy, these children are going to go out and they're going to be happy. They're going to learn better in school. They're going to eat or sleep better at nights and show their friends, so that we can spread this love with our young people. And I guess to end this little chat with Eric, I like to leave one thing with the young people and our elders, is visit your elders. And elders, take interest in our young people, in the children, and show that love that we almost lost. And again, like I say, with Creator's help, we were able to regain that. Our parents were not that fortunate to be able to give that love back to us, because it's only now that we're able to do that. And